Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Management Studies, SOMS, Bachelor's Degree Programs, Bachelor of Business Administration, Retailing, BBARIL. Revised, Semester I-101 Brazilian Reals Overview of Retailing, Unit-1 Retail Scenario.
1.0 Objectives. After studying this unit, you will be able to define retailing and outline the importance of retail industry. Explain the structure of retail sector in India. Describe the retail industry in the global context. Identify factors contributing to the rapid growth of organized retail in India, and analyze the impact of economic liberalization. 1.1 Introduction. Retail industry is a highly labor-intensive industry which makes it the largest private sector entity in India. It performs a focal function of connecting the product with the customer, performing a supporting role in the economic growth of a country, which includes providing employment and creating infrastructure. The sector accounts for generating the largest employment in India, after agriculture. In fact, the word retail is derived from the French word retailer, meaning to cut again or to break bulk. Some of the cut functions retailers perform include sorting and storing, packing and selling in small quantities to the final consumers, thus adding value. All these activities make this industry contribute more than 10% to the Indian GDP. You would also appreciate that the Indian retailing industry is expected to grow from $0.8 trillion in 2020 to $1.5 trillion in 2030. At Carney 2021 Global Retail Development Index ranks India at the second spot after China. A NISCOM report mentions that this sector alone to generate 2.5 crore new jobs by 2030 through its offline and online businesses, and would become about 50% of the total retail employment additions. Also, the sector would contribute with double-digit contribution to the national economy of India. In this unit, you will learn the meaning and importance of retailing, functions of a retailers and the existing trends in Indian retailing. The factors influencing the growth as well as challenges and impact of economic liberalization will be further discussed. 1.2 Meaning and importance of retailing. Retailing can be defined as a set of business activities performed in selling the goods and services directly to the end users. The goods and services sold to the consumers are meant for their personal use and not for resale or business activity. Retailing is the last activity conducted in the chain of product distribution down to the consumers. Its various formats arise according to the ease or convenience of the customers and retailers. On one hand, wherein the large cities have witnessed the retail trends in the form of organized retail sales through larger store percolation and automatic vending machines. On the other hand, the rural landscape retail is being conducted using the orthodox ways, i.e. through small shops, mobile vans, carts and flea or weekly hart markets. This enables us to classify various retailer types based on the functions they perform, namely, 1. Store and 2. Non-store retailing. Cundiff and Still defines it as retailing consists of those activities involved in selling directly to ultimate consumers. The American Marketing Association defines it as a set of business activities carried on to accomplishing the exchange of goods and services for purposes of personal, family, or household use, whether performed in a store or by some form of non-selling. Figure 1.1 Sectors in retailing. Look at the screen. Look at Fig 1.1, which shows various sectors of retail. As depicted, the broad sector includes food, fashion, and accessories, furniture, telecom, etc. Importance of retailing. 1. Contributes to the GDP. Retail industry makes about 10% contribution to the GDP, gross domestic product. Retail industry boosts the Indian economy by facilitating manufacturing and marketing activities as well as providing employment opportunity to the large numbers of people.
2. Employment opportunity. Retail industry provides huge employment opportunity. In India, they are the second largest employment provider. Every year there is huge number of freshers who pass out from schools or universities and seek employment. The retail industry therefore provides good opportunity for the employment. 3. Mobilizing finance. Small retail setup requires less investment. With the limited financial assets, one can easily set up a retail business. Therefore, mobilizing of finance is quite easy in retail. A small shop owner buys in a little bulk from the wholesaler and pays it conveniently. Thus he/she may manage their retail store easily. 4. Customer convenience. In a retail store, customer gets large numbers of items under one roof. Hence, customers need not to run here and there for different products, as they can get it in one location at the same store. Thus retail store provides varieties of products and services for the customer. Customers can select the products or services of their choice easily. Retailers also provide various value-added services such as free home delivery, after-sales service, alterations, etc. to facilitate the customer. 5. Bridges the gap between consumer and manufacturer. A manufacturer converts the raw material into finished products and the customers consume the finished products. A retailer procures the finished product from the manufacturer or the wholesalers and sells it to the final consumers and earns his/her margin. For example, if a customer wants to buy brand like Louis Philippe, Allen Solly, Van Heusen, pantaloons, etc., the retailer needs to approach their manufacturer to buy the merchandise and make it available to the respective customers. 6. Provide feedbacks to the manufacturer. A retailer is in a direct contact with the consumers. Frequent interaction takes place between a retailer and consumer shares the feedback about the product to the retailers. The retailer shares this feedback with the manufacturer. This sharing of feedback helps the manufacturer to improve or develop the product further. For example, a customer buys a white formal shirt and the shirt loses its shine in its very first wash. The customer reaches the retailer for the exchange. The reason for the exchange is manufacturing defect. Retailer shares this feedback to the manufacturer, who in turn uses this customer's feedback to improve the quality of his shirts. 7. Contributing to the environment. Retailers take many green initiatives to protect the environment. For example, retailers promote paper carry bags instead of synthetic carry bags by charging a small amount per carry bags. The primary objective of this is to encourage customers to bring their own carry bags, because the synthetic is not biodegradable and is harmful for the environment. 8. Contributing to the society. Many corporates undertake an initiative called CSR activity, corporate social responsibility. Under this activity, corporates do some charity to help the society. For example, giving some donations to an NGO, old age home or orphanage, etc. 9. Trend setters. When any new fashion or trend comes in the market, it is primarily promoted by the retailers to the customers. For an example, there is a new neckline in ladies' western wear and the company wants to promote it to the customer. Then the manufacturer needs to take the help of the retailers to sell this new neckline in ladies' western wear. Retailers also educate customers about the multiple brands and products available in the market. 10. New area of study. Rapid growth of organized retail has opened an option for new branch or area of study. For example, many universities and educational institutes offer the courses like Bachelor or Masters in retail. Moreover, there is a new stream in MBA IE, MBA in retail, etc. These courses provide in-depth knowledge about retail operation, visual merchandising and band M, etc. 1.3 Functions of a retailer. Functions performed by retailers are as follow. 1. Buying and assembling. The retailer deals with a wide variety of brand wholesalers to ensure the optimum mix of merchandise being available at his store, continually. He regularly assesses the demand and makes necessary purchases accordingly. He also breaks down the wholesale packaging to retail customized packaging to serve the customer. 2. Storage. The retailer ensures a specific stock be kept as reserves to meet the consumer demand uninterruptedly. He may stock some products in his godown also. The associated risks of product obsolescence, damage, etc. lies with the retailer. 3. Displays and services. The retailer displays various merchandise lucratively for ease of remembering and impulse buying by the customer. He also discusses various product-related feedback on changing tastes, likes and dislikes, etc. with the customers and shares it with the wholesalers from time to time. He introduces new products to the existing customers as well as promptly serves new customers also. 4. Credit availability and servicing. The retailer promptly ensures the delivery of desired goods to the consumer, and the consumer may pay it off collectively in a defined and mutually agreed period. Retailers conveniently pack the ordered goods to the customer requirements and timings even at extended hours. 5. Season forecasting and demand estimation. Based on the regional demand cycles like festivals and event season, the retailer forecasts demand and ensures the customer demands are duly met. 6. After-sales services. After-sales services means the service that is given by the retailer once the sale is closed, or post-sale services. It is one of the most important functions of a retailer. In case the after-sale service of the retailers is not good, then it is difficult for such a retailer to exist in the competition. 7. Bridge the gap. Basically, a retailer bridges the gap between a manufacturer and the consumers. A retailer buys the finished goods from the manufacturer in bulk and sells it to the final consumer in a smaller quantity and earns his or her profit. 8. Brand promoters. A retailer also plays a role of a brand promoter for the manufacturers. A retailer runs various promotional activities and advertisements to sell the product and to boost the sale. So directly or indirectly they are promoting a brand or manufacturer. 9. Shares feedback. A retailer shares customers' feedback to the manufacturer, which in turn help the manufacturer to improve the quality of their products. 1.4 Emerging trends in retailing. The Indian retail industry has been witnessing a continued and rapid growth. Let it be small pan vending kiosks across and up till to small corners of the remotest villages of the nation, kirana stores across neighborhood locations, modern trade and e-commerce, and then to omni-channel retail experiences. The technology has enabled this rate of change, with both the retailer as well as the consumer turning digital. Mobile e-commerce through apps have strongly gained momentum from a mere foothold to a distinctive shopping behavioral pattern. Figure 1. 2. Emerging trends in retailing in India. Factor and details. 1. Growing income. By 2030, India will add 140 million middle income and 21 million high income households, leading to a huge emerging middle class. 2. Increased online spending. Online shoppers in India are expected to reach 500 million in 2030 from plus 150 million in 2020. 3. Growth of rural consumption. Rural per capita consumption will grow 4.3 times by 2030, compared to 3.5 times in urban areas. 4. Young millennial households. India will add nearly 90 million new households headed by millennials, who were born into liberalized India. The average age of the country by 2025 will be 29, with the world's largest skilled manpower pool of 600 million plus by 2025. 5. Organic. The modern Indian retail industry is expected to grow at a 15% CAGR to reach 18% by 2025. Major retail categories. By percent organized retail penetration, such as apparel and accessories, 18%, consumer electronics, 6%, and home and living, 6%, will drive the increase in organized retail tested. As of 2020, there were over 19 million retail outlets in India, with just 4% of them having an area in excess of 500 square feet, 46 m². It employs about 40 million people, 3.3% of Indian population. India has about 1 shop outlets for every 1,000 people. With the onset of newer retailing formats, kiosks have emerged as a format for their advantage of movement, lower operational and rental costs, and quick customer responses. Moreover, with the advent of omni-channel retail, the dependence on one format of retailing has lost its significance, making it imperative for an organized retailer to make swift and nimble-footed modifications in their marketing strategies. Though the changing behavioral patterns have shown inclination towards organized retail in India, still it faces challenges from the unorganized sector. The latter have also identified the advantages of organized retail over them and thus have started opening up for the customer, allowing them to browse the merchandise at their stores, increased product categories and brand offerings, larger SKU sets, single window billings, CRM facility, home deliveries based on customer conveniences, telephonic and online ordering services. Do-it-yourself, DIY, stores on one hand increases customer purchase propensity and have decreased selling costs on the other. They also have understood that only good product and servicing will not be enough to retain the customer. Rather, shopping has to be a combination of food, shopping as well as entertainment. Another important factor in Indian organized retailing is that the mall developer is not a retailer and the retailer is not a mall developer. A real estate developer designs, develops and markets a retail facility. Once leased, typically, it hands over the mall operations to a mall management company. The retailer, on the contrary, becomes dependent on the services offered by the mall management company, with the developer ceasing or his responsibilities towards its retailer tenants partners. Spread of organized retailing. There has been a rapid evolution of organized retailing throughout the nation. Retail malls came into existence in India in the late 1990s and expanded aggressively in the past 2 decades. Currently, there is 50 million sq ft of leasable mall stock already operational across the top 7 cities. DLF Malls has been amongst the forerunners and has been instrumental in transforming the way people interact, connect, and experience the retail landscape. It has 4.2 million sq ft retail space, 3.45 million sq ft LED certified, 2.3 million sq ft. In upcoming projects, 900 plus international and Indian brands, 62 million annual customers, and is spreading and making its presence felt in different parts of the country. The history of organized retailing in India has Spencer Plaza, shopping mall at Anna Salai, Chennai, as one of the modern landmarks of the city. Originally built, belonged to Spencer & Co Ltd 1895. During the period of the British Raj and reconstructed in 1985 on the site of the original Spencer's department store, it is the oldest shopping mall in India, one of the biggest shopping malls in South Asia when it was built. It has a gross leasable, retail, area of 530,000 sq ft. Indian retail witnessed the inclination towards organized retail with then leading retailer, Subiksha. Having been started by the alumni of IIMA, the long-term success, survival and profitability of Subiksha was expected. In the light of India's promising retail potential, huge investments were made by several big corporate houses of India, jacking up the prices of all the related parts of the industry. Being a pioneer in organized retailing in India, Subiksha became India's largest retail chain with 1,665 stores across the country. In the process, it succeeded in building a sound brand name over the years with its no-frill, discount format. With the Indian organized retail industry blooming under the economic liberalizations and attention from global players, Subiksha was expected to grow bigger, but as global recession set in, credit markets froze and Subiksha stumbled as its capital structure could not support the requirement. Lack of liquidity and overexpansion troubled Subiksha as it failed to pay rent to the landlords and salary to its employees. Operations came to a standstill. Retail is the new commercial keyword. Lot of retail terminologies have evolved from and around it. The sector is growing organically as well as inorganically, i.e., via internal growth and via new expansion route of fresh stores and adding new product categories. Non-store retailing, omni-channel retailing, e-commerce, m-commerce, digital commerce are all bringing impetus and fresh blood to it. Coupled this with the power of newer technologies, people, customers and payment mechanisms, this sector is going to set newer milestones for its stakeholders as well to the national economy as a whole. Emerging formats like 24x7 convenience stores, digital banking and online retail are set to transform the Indian retailing scenario. 1st April 2001 global trend. By now, we have understood the aspects of retailing and various reasons for the steep growth of retailing in India. We have underlined the importance of Indian demographics, its markets, the purchasing power, behavioral trends and the future retail projections. All of them project for the Indian retail growth story to be a massive one, with the share of organized retail requires leapfrogging to reach the levels of other developed countries. Our markets have remained attractive to pull various international brands in various sectors to be recognized as a formidable power in the global context also. Undoubtedly, retailing touches our lives every day. This sector remains the largest revenue generator and employment provider next only to agriculture. Retailing success showcases the standing of a nation in the global context as it complements the economic growth and development. This can be understood with the U.S. accounting for its 6 retailing companies of the first 7 top retailers listed by Deloitte in its data released for 2021. Organized sector accounts for over 50% of retail sales in most developed countries like the US, UK, Germany, France, etc. Even in developing countries like Brazil, Mexico and China, the share of organized retail is much higher than in India. The list of top global retailers is shown in Table 1.1. In Table 1.1 you can see that. Table 1.1, Top Global Retailers. Rank 1 Walmart Inc. USA operating in 26 countries. Second, Amazon.com Incorporated. USA operating in 21 countries. Third, Costco USA operating in 12 countries. Fourth, Schwarz Group Germany operating in 33 countries. Fifth, Home Depot USA operating in 03 countries. Sixth, Kroger USA operating in 01 countries. The global retail market is expected to grow from $20,298.69 billion in 2020 to $22,438.07 billion in 2021 at a compound annual growth rate (CAGR) of 10.5%. Asia Pacific was the largest region in the global retail market, accounting for 35% of the market in 2020. North America was the second largest region, accounting for 29% of the global retail market. The Middle East was the smallest region in the global retail market. The retail market is segmented into motor spares and service, food and beverage stores, gasoline stations, miscellaneous store retailers, cosmetics and personal care stores, clothing and clothing accessories stores, electronics and appliance stores, furniture and home furnishings stores, supermarkets and hypermarkets, convenience, mom and pop stores, department stores and other general merchandise stores, e-commerce and other non-store retailers, and garden equipment and supplies dealers, pharmacies and healthcare stores and sporting goods, hobby, musical instrument, and bookstores. Walmart, established 1962, is an American multinational retail corporation that operates a chain of hypermarkets, also called supercenters, discount department stores, and grocery stores from the United States, headquartered in Bentonville, Arkansas. It also owns and operates Sam's Club retail warehouse. With $548.743 billion, it is the world's largest company by revenue. Known for its aggressive pricing strategies for the customers arising from bulk buying and coupled with very efficient logistic and warehousing strategies. Disintermediation holds the key for Walmart as it builds on the margins and generates profits by sharing the benefits to the customer. As of 2020, the Japanese retail industry sales are at a decade high with approach 46 trillion Japanese yen. While non-food products make up a significant share of the industry, food and beverages represent the largest segment in domestic retail trade. The Japanese retail market is characterized by the strong presence of brick-and-mortar store retailing. Even though the e-commerce sector is emerging, consumers prefer physical stores to purchase everyday goods, cosmetics, and foodstuff in particular. However, non-store retailers are gradually gaining traction as potential customers are taking advantage of fast shipping and efficient customer services. The largest and most important retail market in Europe in terms of turnover was the German market, with a value of roughly €560 billion in 2017. Other important markets were France, roughly €469 billion, the United Kingdom, approximately €464 billion, and Italy, approximately €323 billion. These are, however, not the markets experiencing the largest growth. Central and Eastern Europe's growth figures are considerably higher than those in Western Europe. In 2018, the Bulgarian market saw the highest turnover growth, at 7.7%, followed by the Czech Republic, 7.2%, and Romania, 7.1%. By comparison, the turnover decreased by over 3% in Swedish brick-and-mortar stores. The Indian retail scenario has its own unique characteristics. On one side, it aspires to catch up with international fashion and consumption trends, but on the other hand, its strong and conspicuous, value-driven, customer inclinations intend for the Indianized customizations. For example, The emergence of fast food chains and quick service restaurants was a resultant of international culture in India. We saw mushrooming of unorganized Chinese food joints leading to organized ones getting established like Yo China and mainland China. On similar lines, KFC, McDonald's, Subway along with others entered India. Going forward with the case of McDonald's, they never introduced its US sales front leader, hamburger, to India, rather quickly introduced the Indianized and value-centric Aloo Tikki burger and Navratri special thali. Similarly, KFC is struggling to have its footprint in lower-tier cities and towns due to lower cultural acceptance of non-vegetarian products. In the fashion apparel segment, the geographical spread and festival season differences coupled with thin trade margins have made the large format stores, LFS, find ways to increase their profitability, thus relying on options. They are focusing on development of private brands. They are licensed brands of a retailer and are only or exclusively available with its outlets. Future groups have private labels, namely Buffalo, Bear Denim, Rangamanch, etc. At times, these fashion retail chains get branded merchandise exclusively made for their stores only. In food retail, Future Group has labels like Tasty Treat, Fresh and Pure, Clean Mate, Ekta, Premium Harvest, etc. The private brand enables a retailer to have better control over the merchandise planning and availability, supply chain, quality and packaging customizations, exclusivity, customer base and loyalty. This also enables them to change the pricing strategy as per the requirement of geographies, customer demand and competitive aggression response.
There has been a new trend witnessed with the retail chains taking up good old brands. Worth mentioning here is the Reliance brand strategy to buy and market BPL and Kelvinator brands by them. RBL has brought home 35 international brands, some of whom have their largest markets in India. They have identified the new age Indian consumer having enhanced international exposure, brand awareness, lifestyle aspirations and spending power. The new gen, grown up in an environment of abundance, choice, and convenience of buying from anywhere with a simple click. Future Group has its own private brand named Choreo, under which they retail various electronic product merchandise. You are listening to this audiobook on Audio Learn IGNOU. 1st April 2002 Indian Trend. Indian demographics are underlined with its educated and spending youths, making this industry an active, attractive and rapidly growing sector. While having been practiced as a traditional business since traditions, it can be seen widely accepted across the exponential Indian geographic spread. With such attractiveness arising from its population-based markets and resource availability, large global and international retail brands have lined up to become a part of this illustrious Indian retail journey. The government has also supported with foreign direct investments, FDI, allowing FDI to 100% in certain sectors, increasing sectoral cap, permitting FDI under automatic route as against government approval route, besides removing certain sector-specific restrictions. While Indian economy is gaining access for foreign counterparts, the Indians are also riding the global wave. They expect foreign brands, services, retailing practices and scenarios to be created in the country. Also, the foreign nationals to India expect their brands being available in India too. Indian market attractiveness coupled with rise in disposable incomes, change in tastes and preferences, influenced behavioral patterns and exploratory ideologies. These changes have attracted the international retailers and have led to the growth in the Indian retailing markets. Brands like Walmart and Amazon already have their significant presence in India, while the physical retail landscape is dominated by Indian entities like Reliance Retail, Future Retail, Avenue Supermarkets, D-Mart, and Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail Limited. The chase for customer value has made online retailing, e-commerce, a preferred option in India, with this market projected for $350 billion by 2030 from an estimated $55 billion in 2021. The fast technological advancements have led to faster product obsoleteness, and the need for new solutions have led to the increased consumption patterns. UNFPA puts India as having one of the youngest populations in the world. Demographic changes like rising disposable incomes, more inclination for fashion and lifestyle-led product and services, online and mobile banking, nuclear families, etc., have attracted the international retailers in India. In addition to this, social changes such as increase in the number of nuclear families and the growing number of working couples have fueled the Indian retail consumption. The Indian government is inclined towards investing and developing robust infrastructure, rural development, public health, etc., which would promote a favorable retail environment. As mentioned earlier, a favorable FDI regime is serving as a facilitating factor in this retail growth story. Rapid urbanization has created newer employment opportunities, and this has made youth shift from rural areas to urban areas. This shifting has created a multidimensional cultural diversity. India's organized retail sector, physical, size has grown from less than 1.5 million sq ft in 2001 to 78 million sq ft in 2018, with the top 8 Indian cities are growing with CAGR of 24.6%. Food retailing vertical has been a preferred choice by the organized retail consumers, led by consumer services, consumer durables and apparels, besides personal care. Organized food retail is dominated by players namely Big Bazaar, D-Mart, Star Bazaar, Hypercity, Reliance Fresh, Spar and Spencer's Retail have nationwide presence. Quick service restaurant, QSR, landscape is dominated by international brands like Domino's, McDonald's, KFC, Subway, Burger King, etc. With the opening up of the economy, the fast infrastructural growth has led to the development of new retail destinations. Expanding cities, development of Tier L and 4 cities, highways have aided the retail growth in India. Besides creating employment opportunities at various levels, it provides entrepreneurial opportunities for opening small retail ventures at local levels with low capital requirement, coupled with an ability to boost retail consumers by providing them easy, next-door access to the consumers. Figure 1.3 shows the category-wise breakup of total Indian retail market. Look at the screen. In the above figure, the total domestic retail market has been divided in a different category, such as food and grocery retail, lifestyle, electronics and others. The major share, that is 69% of the total domestic retail, has been occupied by the other retailers. Lifestyle retail consists of 15%, followed by food and grocery retail, which consists of 12%. And among all, the electronic retail consists of the least share, that is 5%. Noteworthy mentioning here is the emergent role of retailers in the corporate social responsibility initiatives undertaken by them. They actively participated in societal health and hygiene initiatives, providing civic amenities, cleanliness, education, women empowerment, social inclusiveness, healthcare, etc. Their role towards giving it back to the society, customer and the community by the means of increased interactions and building mutually beneficial relationships. Tier 2 and 3 cities, such as Jaipur, Chandigarh, Kanpur, Vijayawada, Kozhikode and Nasik, are said to witness the retail growth as the share of organized retail is dominant in the first 20 Indian cities. India has demonstrated a large level of traditional retail businesses, mom and pop stores, thus making our nation be recognized as the one of shopkeepers. With the increased consumerism and predominant demand for the goods and services, there has been a widespread growth across the different tier cities, towns as well as villages. This has not only created avenues to meet the persistent demand but to make available the new products and services, thereby creating the demand. Neighborhood stores have been writing a separate success story in retail by catering to the specific needs of the customers in a locality. Convenience stores have their own set of advantages as they become another emerging format of retail. Fig. I.4 demonstrates various factors which have led to the growth of retail in India. 1.5 factors influencing the growth of retail. There exists a wide demographic and geographic differential in India with changes in the languages, lifestyle, behavioral patterns, income spread and ideologies changing fast in every hour traveled. Retail has been one of the most dynamic and fast-paced industries in India that has traversed through different phases over the years. Driven by strong macroeconomic factors, India, at present, is the fourth largest retail market in the world. Interestingly, the industry is likely to grow further, from being a $790 billion market in FY 2019 to $1,400 billion by the end of 2024. Let us discuss these factors in brief. 1. Economic growth. Indian economy has witnessed a sharp rise in the past decade, leading to create more employment opportunities. As more jobs available in the market have raised the income level of the people. This increased level of income has improved their purchasing power simultaneously. Due to this incremental purchasing power, consumers aspire to buy more goods and services, thus inducing more and more retailers to enter the industry to grab these opportunities. 2. Changing demographic profile. There is a new set of college and office goers, and the numbers is increasing with the passing of each year. And the retailers would like to capitalize these opportunities. 3. Increased disposable income. With the increase in income, the share of the disposable income also got increased, and therefore there are more demands for goods and services, which is attracting more numbers of retailers to fulfill these additional demands. Examples. In earlier days, people in rural areas often used to travel by bicycles. But due to increased levels of income, now people can easily afford motorbikes. Similarly, in cities, there are large no of the population who can easily afford cars. All these are the result of an increase in disposable income. Finally, this leads to new demands for bikes and cars and an opportunity for retailers to capitalize in the same. 4. Urbanization. The population in the cities are growing rapidly for the sake of employment. The existing cities are expanding and trying to accommodate the migrated population. This additional population creates additional demands for goods and services, therefore inviting more retailers to enter in the industry. Example, the population of Delhi is estimated to be around 82 lakhs in 1990, and there was only one shopping mall, Ansal Plaza, in South Extension. But the scenario is entirely different now. The population of Delhi has grown to 3.2 crores and the estimated no of malls in the city is 14. 5. Changing consumers' taste and preferences. The taste and preferences of the consumers change very frequently, therefore, giving rise to the demand for new goods and services. And the retailers entering the industry to capitalize in the opportunity. Example, let us say a person buys the latest Samsung mobile phone. After 6 months, there is a new model launched in the market. Due to a change in taste and preferences, this person might buy this newly launched phone. This gives rise to a new demand and will attract more and more retailers in the industry to fulfill this extra demand. 1.6 Challenges for retailers. 1. Lack of technology adoption, like ERP, FID and other CRM tools. These technologies are quite expensive to be implemented. Therefore, small players cannot implement this in their business. 2. Lack of infrastructure and logistics. Non-efficient distribution channels are very difficult to handle and result in distribution losses and wastages. Due to these losses, the cost of the product goes up and does not allow the small retailers to compete with the big retail players in terms of the price more. 3. Scarcity of skilled workforce. Retail is a labor-intensive industry. But in a country like India, retail jobs are not considered to be white-collar jobs. The academically sound people don't like to work in retail, rather they like to join some other industries. Resultantly, there was always the shortage of skilled manpower prior to the FDI. But the scenario is different now. 4. Frauds in retail. Retail shrinkage arises from the difference between the value of the stock as per the books and the actual stock available in the outlet. There are various other loopholes causing losses to retailers, such as employee theft, vendor fraud, accounting malpractices, etc. 1. Inefficient supply chain management. Supply chain management is altogether a different ballgame. Indian retailers don't want to get into this as this is not their expertise. Finally, retailers had to outsource the supply chain service, which led up to the extra cost. In India, supply chain management should be improved and more technology need to be used to make the supply chain management effective and reduce the inventory cost. 2. Price war between retail organizations. Big retailers still wipe out the competition enters into price war. These players enjoy economies of scale and sustain the competition easily, but which is quite difficult for the new entrant or the small players. Difficult to attain customer loyalty and companies keep marginal profit to provide the goods at competitive prices. 3. Cultural diversity. India is a land of diversified culture. There exist many different languages. The language and culture in the north is entirely different from that of south, east and west. Therefore, consumer buying and consumption patterns are entirely different from region to region and hence pose a challenge in demand forecasting for the retailers. No established mode or consumption pattern throughout the country. 4. Complexity in tax compliances. Though reduced with GST, still paper trailing work is a tough task. 1.7 Impact of economic liberalization. The LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization, economic policy of 1991, made approaches to international banks for the country's development. Indian government was asked to open its restrictions on trade done by the private sector and between India and other countries. New Economic Policy, NEP, envisaged a wide array of reforms, which brought significant changes for the retail investments to India, prompting multinational retailers to seek entry to Indian soil. They explored various routes to Indian entry like indirect and direct exports, licensing, franchising and joint venturing. DCM United Colors of Benetton, Alan Solly, Aero, Jockey, Lee, Nike, Van Heusen etc. Franchising has grown rapidly and many foreign retailers including McDonald's, Pizza Hut, etc. have set up franchisees. In the subsequent years, import duties for fashion products successively came down, making imports a less expensive sourcing option, and the realty boom brought investors in retail real estate that were ideal franchisees for the international brands. By 2003, franchising became the preferred launch vehicle for an increasing number of international companies, while only a few chose to enter through licensing. The Government of India reopened retail to foreign investment, allowing up to 51% foreign direct investment in single brand retail, FDI. Using this route, many brands have entered India by setting up majority-owned joint ventures, or they have transitioned their existing franchise arrangements into a joint venture structure. Multiple international brands have marked their ways to India, various regulations has been liberalized, various financial institutions and banks have granted loans to the organized retailers. Due to economic liberalization, IT has become the integral part of organized retail. Since organized retail is growing in many folds, more and more intellect people are entering the retail industry, which means the organized retail industry has become more professional. By the end of 2021, just under half of the brands were present through a franchise or distribution relationship, while over a quarter had either a wholly owned or majority owned subsidiary. These structures allowed the brands to have greater control of operations, particularly of product. A good example depicting this shift in business strategy is BF Corporation, which entered India in the 1980s by assigning the Wrangler license to DuPont Sportswear. Since then, it has launched a variety of brands in different product categories with a number of Indian partners and finally formed a joint venture, with Arvind Brands Pvt. Limited, with Arvind Brands. 1.8 Summary. Retailing in India has been a traditional business activity. It provides employment to people just after the agricultural sector in the country. From an unorganized setup, this sector has moved on to get organized with more than 10% of retail sales coming from the organized vertical. Neighborhood stores, high streets, shopping centers and malls, online retailing, mobile commerce, non-store retailing, multi-branded retail, franchisee stores, licensing, distribution etc. all have contributed to its growth. Lot of policy interventions by the government of India has ensured that the interests of the local, small-scale unorganized retailers are not harmed by the big tech and heavily muscled international retailers intending to gain entry to India. IKEA, Carrefour, Walmart all raised their concerns while seeking entry to India. South African retailer, Shoprite entered with a JV with an Indian real estate developer, Nirma Lifestyle but broke off. Similar pains were demonstrated with the Bharti Walmart venture and later on by Carrefour. Indian players demonstrated better understanding as they showcased better business success rate. In very less time Reliance Retail crossed the prestigious 10,000 crore retail sales milestone. Spencer's of RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Pantaloons of Kishore Biyana's Future Group, bought by Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail Limited. In 2013, an Easy Day stores of Bharti being bought by Future Group. Amongst all this consolidation happening in the retail sector in India, the single brand went on its glorious journey. Noted single brand retailers in India being Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail with Philip Van Heusen, Ansoli, Peter England besides others, Raymond Apparel with Park Avenue, Parkser, Colourplus, Manzoni and more, Arvind Whitley, Aero, Wrangler, Flying Machine etc. Cable Kiran Clothing Limited with brands like Killer, Easy's, Leman PG3, Integrity, ITC Lifestyle, sold its brand John players to Reliance Retail, have been dominating the Indian apparel landscape. Other noteworthy brands being Monte Carlo by Aswal Woolen Mills Ltd, of Naha Group, Blackberries Manyamar, Provogue, etc. Greater urbanization, favorable government policies, rising income levels and changing lifestyle have contributed to growth of the retail industry in India. Congestion in metros and high rentals in central business districts and unfavorable labor laws and land-related legislations have restricted growth of the organized retail industry. Due to the changing lifestyle and advances in technology, non-store retailing including tele-shopping, e-tailing and catalog retailing is growing rapidly. Thank you. Subscribe our channel for more updates. We will see you with the next chapter.